welcome to India Today. How are you guys doing?
Very well. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic.
I'm sure like the phone calls haven't stopped. Tell me what has been like the feedback for Love Storia. How are you feeling? Just receiving so much love for the show.
Thanks for the great review, Sana. Thank you for that.
Yes, Sana, thanks.
Okay,
a lot.
guys,
Yeah.
tell about the reactions. I think Vivek shared
you
some
will
of the
share some of
messages on his Insta. I saw.
Yeah. My couple have been receiving a lot of love all across in terms of like their phones are like flooded with messages. A lot of messages Rajni has sent it to me and very heartwarming. And like she's just saying ki, I don't know, it's very overwhelming for both of us. And then yesterday they went to their parents' house, which is there. I mean, they were also there in the documentary, Rajni's parents. They showed it to them as well, and it's very overwhelming response from all across. And even my friends, whoever has seen it, they're very emotional and like not from out and from within industry also. A lot of people have reached out and share their love which they have felt after watching the film. So it feels great. Yeah.
I think I agree with Vivek because finding love at 40 wala jo line hai na, it has worked so well because Ekta, who is our protagonist, has been like constantly forwarding me reactions of people that have been reacting to her and reacting to her story, and the fact that so many women are able to say things to Ekta the way Ekta has been able to tell to the camera, and that has been a very big insight for me, that how a small story, if gone through the right producers and the right platform, can resonate with so many people, and they are able to share and express themselves and put out on Insta, tag all of us, and I don't think I have seen a more power of a docu-series than this ever.
Archana?
I mean, it was very overwhelming for me to actually know that my couple, their children actually saw the film, and to see like the story being told in this juxtaposed way, and talking together to kind of they didn't know kind of a lot of details, so they feel so proud that these guys are their parents. For me, that was like a very big win, I think.
Yeah, truly. Somen, I was just reading somewhere how, of course, Love Storia has been like a rebel title for the song and used in Brahmastra. When you guys picked up the title, was that thought ever in your mind? Because love, as we know, doesn't come without rebellion. So was that the reason?
We were really struggling to find a good title for it, and there are too many stakeholders. Like Dramatic is there, directors are there, my team is there, Karan is there, Amazon is there. Nobody was liking one title, and I don't know who suggested Love Story. I say कि ये वाला करें क्या? It was one of the.
I suggested.
I
suggested Love Story.
Okay. Or was it Madhurima? Or Madhurima and you both?
I suggested. I remember Colin saying, "Oh fuck, wow."
So okay, then Hardik suggested. Here we are. And then we thought about it. This is one phrase which has got so much trolling, so much hate, and we are doing a series about love. So why not own this and make it about love? As somebody beautifully pointed out, say that it was like that time they used to call कि अच्छा ये biryani में इलायची की तरह है love story. Now let's make the ilaichi into biryani. So so that was the intention. Thematically, that was in our mind. But we didn't knew that how it will pan out. You always hope that people will like it because but and also the title was somebody else. I'm quite gracious of that person who gave us the title for it, and now it looks like the best title for the series.
Yeah, but I think the idea behind taking an Instagram page started by 3 journalists and making it to something on screen. What was the thought behind it, Somen, and what was the kind of conversations you had with them of picking up stories from their project?
So one of the things, I mean, we all love that page because it features so many love stories, but also one of the exciting thing is we are seeing these real people, and some of the love stories are so filmy. मतलब अगर किसी को बिना बताए we say this has happened, nobody will believe this. So initially we thought कि we'll do a fictional anthology, but then we thought if the people are so interesting and if we show them, that will be much more exciting and joyous and maybe inspiring. So then we discarded the idea of making fictional show. We pitched it as a docu-series to Amazon. So both Akriti and Aparna from Amazon jumped at it. And then the idea was to get 6 filmmakers from diverse background, and they pick up stories which resonated with them. So we told everyone to pick 3 to 5 stories, depending on how dramatic it is, how open the couples are, if they're okay to be on coming on camera, how candid they will be, because telling in one post आप इतना सा लिख देते हो छोटा सा ज़्यादा, and when you are shooting with the 7-10 days, and these are like normal people never faced a camera, but those were the challenges. Also, some of the couples, we have to be careful because the family is still against them. So if we feature and something goes wrong, we had to protect them also. So those were some of the factors that we took into consideration, and then we asked all the filmmakers to give us a 3 to 5, and then we started shortlisting after talking to the couples. We're doing the research on that, digging more into that. Something might not have there in the post, but it might have happened in the real life. And here we are, 3 years later.
Yeah.
We started in 2021. Now we're 2024.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And all three of you individually tell me, like, what was about your stories that you picked up, as Somen rightly mentioned, 3 to 4, but what was it that you picked these stories out of? Maybe like more than 250 stories are out there on that page.
So when I picked my story, actually, when I read it for the first time, it seemed like an impossible kind of a thing, you know. So yeah, because like I was like, why would anyone by choice go to Taliban occupied Afghanistan? Like, you know, to me, I mean, if I was in her place, I would be like, "Arey, mujhe block karna hai usko Facebook, Instagram, yahan wahan se," like, you know, like that kind of a thing. I wouldn't have taken probably this. So this was fascinating for me that, you know, this girl, 21 years old, took this big step, and there was no modes of communication then. There was no WhatsApp, there is like not even dial-up internet, I think, to take this, you know, crazy big, really larger than life step. So the story itself is very incredible, and I wanted to know more of it. So that's how I kind of felt attracted to this woman actually, who took this crazy decision. And when I went the husband also, I thought they were such an incredible couple because they didn't have resentment, you know, at the end of the day. With everything that they had gone through, they are still happy with their lives almost, and they cherish the ordinary things. And that's what I wanted to tell the story about, that there is ordinary things around us, beautiful ordinary things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's important for us to just stop and look, and, you know, keep that moment with us before moving on. So that was my really intent with this political story, but to tell the importance of ordinariness really in life.
Yeah.
I would say that what really attracted me was that the fact that, you know, प्यार सिर्फ दो लोगों के बीच में नहीं होता, दो परिवारों के बीच में होता है हमारी जैसी कंट्री में. So how to make the family together with love is also a love story. You know, while there is the couple's love story, but there was so much story behind this bringing them together also, which is what was fascinating. And there was everything in it, like man, woman, children, animal, pets, मतलब, you know. So I thought that this is a great range, and maybe कभी feature film बनेगी इसकी. लेकिन उससे पहले एकता ने उल्लेख, जब उनसे बात भी की, they were so articulate, and you know, I think that's half the job done. You know, because they were able to express themselves to their innermost emotions. You know, when एकता का इंटरव्यू हमने एटलीस्ट 2.5-3 घंटे तक लिया था, और जब वो इंटरव्यू लिया और वो खत्म हुआ ना, तो मैंने और मेरे सिनेमाटोग्राफर ने एक दूसरे के सामने देखा, एंड ऑलमोस्ट सेड टू ईच अदर इन आंखों आंखों में कि फिल्म तो मिल गई है, मतलब, you know. So I thought that was a story that really inspired me to be a part of this series.
Amazing. Amazing. Yes, Vivek.
For me, basically, this thought, you know, like we often in life we only share what we have in abundance, be it happiness, love, or money. If I'm feeling low, I'll not be able to go and look out happiness for others, right? I look out that for myself first. But with Mandy's character, who is visually impaired, but she wasn't born like that. You know, she lost her eyesight while she was growing up, and there was nothing going on good with her in her life. But in spite of that, she's still could find love for these two characters, which was beautiful. And as I said कि मतलब वो जिंदगी में ज्यादा देखने को मिलता नहीं है कि आप दुखी हो तो दूसरे के लिए सुख तराशना बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत रेयर है, पर बहुत खूबसूरत है. तो ये खूबसूरत बात मुझे बहुत खूबसूरत लगी उनकी कहानी में. And of course then Meghalaya, that landscape itself is so stunning, which I of course wanted to explore.
विवेक की बात में अगर मैं चीज और ऐड करूँ, तो अगर ये कहानी फिक्शन में होती ना, तो कोई बोलता आ रहा है यार, ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है. लेकिन नॉन फिक्शन में ये कहानी ऐसा कि वाओ, ये कैसे
बिलीवेबल हो सकती है, या नहीं तो मानो या ना मानो डालना पड़ता, बिकॉज इट्स सो, यू नो, सच ए सॉर्ट ऑफ अ थिंग दैट यू कांट बिलीव इट. So yeah, so these were the two that idea was the main reason कि यार
Yeah.
I just jumped
Yeah.
onto it. Yeah.
And so, when tell me, of course, Dharma, Karan, like they all are synonyms to romance and love. When you kind of decided that this is something that you wanted to do under Dharmatic, what was the kind of feedback that he had or any inputs that he gave you? Because this was also something new that Dharmatic was doing. Docu-series is not something that they've done.
So this is, of course, our first docu-series. So Karan was excited about it, but also when I told him, he said, "इस budget में फिल्में बन सकती है." That was the only concern because, as I pointed out, कि हमारी 6 films की budget is रॉकी रानी के एक गाने के budget से भी कम है.
Oh.
So I said, but Karan, documentaries ऐसे budget में ही बनती है, constraints में ही अच्छी बनती है, and somebody is giving money to make documentaries, that is great enough. So, and then of course, Dharmatic, as it happens, once he sees the initial thing and he's okay with green lighting, then he never comes into the picture. It's full freedom because he's a filmmaker, he understands that. So everyone decides their treatment, their way, how to go about it, and he trusts us completely. And then he saw the films once it was all completed, and he really loved it. And he said, "Okay, let me know what I can do." So we said, but documentaries, we need wider reach. At least, why don't you do the trailer? So then he presented the trailer. And he's saying, "Acha, mujhe hata do because I'm the only person looking fake in this real love stories." We said, "No, we need you for a wider reach. It might be real or fake, but we need you." So we kept him. So he has been quite supportive and he has been very excited since the release. He said, "Okay, let's do this, let's do that." So, I mean, he has always been there for us and he was excited that these are the love stories that we have not done. And he also saw it and he was surprised how well they have turned out. So I'm very proud of what the 6 filmmakers have delivered and such cinematic, range in this 6 films.
Yeah. And when you have like such great stories, so when were you tempted to maybe make it like a 10-part series, or 6 was a number that you decided कि चलो 6 ही काफी है?
6 में मेरी जान निकल गई because this none of these directors knew what the other was doing. Me and my team were going mad because 6 का अलग shoot, different locations. You have seen the film. We are shooting all across the country. Archana is traveling from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Hardik is traveling from Delhi to Kanyakumari to Kerala. Vivek is there in Northeast shooting terrain. I mean, it's gorgeous, but it's a difficult shooting terrain, Sazia is going from Calcutta to Bangladesh. The visa ka issue, train mein ja rahe, how to shoot. So as a producer, it was a nightmare. I said, I had done an anthology which is 4 films. I said 4 easier, 6 kar lenge, but I didn't realize what we signed up for. But करते कराते 3 साल बीत गया. But I mean, we were all happy what came out. But it was quite a task at hand to, with a different timeline, different shooting timeline, different edit timeline. It was quite a task. Thanks to my team member Madhurima, who really worked with me and the other people that we managed it.
Great. Hardik, tell me, like, you absolutely rightly mentioned how you lucked out with Ekta because she's so articulate and what a great storyteller she has been. But when she opened her drawing room, maybe to interact with her kids and even her mother-in-law, like Ullek's mother, had some great line in the film. Like, everyone was just laughing and screaming. Tell me, how different was it to actually speak to the family members? Because, of course, the couples have signed up, they want to tell their story, but as a director, was it difficult to get the family members to open up?
Yeah, so what we did very interestingly was that when we interviewed Ekta and Ullekh, we took them to a farmhouse in Delhi and the kids were not allowed there. And when we interviewed the kids, we went to their home where Ekta and Ullekh were told to go out.
Okay.
So we were able to manage it in a way, like even in the boats, there are 2 separate boats. So एक boat में जब हम एकता उल्लेख को कर रहे थे, तो बच्चे काफी दूर थे, और जब बच्चों को कर रहे थे इंटरव्यू, तो एकता उल्लेख काफी दूर थे. तो इस तरह से we were able to manage some of these really raw moments. And इनफैक्ट एकता की उल्लेख की मॉम का तो बहुत ही ज्यादा फनी हो रहा था, क्योंकि हमने वहां ऊपर वो लोग रेडी हो रहे थे नेक्स्ट शूट के लिए और हम नीचे इंटरव्यू ले रहे थे उनका, और वो कुछ चीजें ना एकदम धीरे बोल देती थी और उनका वॉइस भी एक्चुअली आप देखना काफी सहमा हुआ है. तो हम सोच रहे थे कि यार ये जोर से क्यों नहीं बोल रही है, क्योंकि वो चाहती थी कि वो जो भी बोल रही है कैमरा को वो उल्लेख ना सुन ले, मतलब या बाहर वाले ना सुन ले, क्योंकि उन्होंने फैमिली अपने घर के बाहर भी नेबर्स को नहीं बताया था कि उल्लेख अपनी फैमिली को लेके आ रहा है, और अगर आता भी तो उनको लगता है उल्लेख अपनी वाइफ को लेके आ रहा है, तो उनको नहीं पता था कि Ulle's wife already had kids and all of that, so it's kind of complicated to manage
Right.
that in a way, to do it stealthily also, make them comfortable also, and at the same time get the best emotion and the best lines out. But I think that is what we train ourselves all our lives for, because a documentary filmmaker is not just a filmmaker. He or she, they have to be a humanist first, and that is probably my training in life helped me to get these kind of nuances out.
Yeah. And Vivek, it was so heart-touching when, of course, he speaks about in your film, like, because you're making this documentary, you are listening to me, but otherwise there are so many people who want to speak, but they don't. As a filmmaker, when you were sitting right there, how did you feel about it? Tell me about that experience.
It was a very emotional moment, to be very honest with you, and that was never part of the script. It was never part of the script. It was, we had never thought also, and neither the couple had spoken about it, about this addiction, about this fear of abandonment. कुछ बात ही नहीं हुई थी उस पे, and we never thought that we are going to take that turn also. So it so happened because मैं 6-7 दिन ही था वहाँ पे, but उन 6-7 दिनों में भी जो भी हमारी bonding हुई, I could see them, though it's not that we were spending the whole day, like whatever time we used to shoot, we used to be together, but it's just that वो होता है ना, कभी 3 दिन भी बहुत होते हैं और कभी सालों लग जाते हैं लोगों को जानने में. I guess those 6-7 days were good enough for me to just be with them and just to understand the emotion core of the people, both of them. So I was just sitting and I could see that there is a fear of abandonment that he might have. I've also gone through it. I've also felt it in my life where I've had some sort of relationships which didn't turn out the way I had thought. So वो डर कहीं ना कहीं बैठ जाता है, and I have been through that emotion. And because of it, it took me a lot of time for me to get into my next relationship. वो होता है ना, दूध का जरा छाछ भी फूक के पीता. So then you become a bit fearful in order to stands you take. So then I could see that he also must be fighting or battling this emotion as well. And I just asked him, do you fear, this sort of, do you have this fear of abandonment? One day, God forbid, she turns around and says, boss, it's not working out. And he just broke down. वो होता है ना कि मतलब एक सुई थी जो मैंने ऐसे खींच दी और वो सब कुछ बिखर गया. It was just that moment.
Yeah.
And what happened was, like as he said here, मैं बहुत अच्छा महसूस कर रहा हूँ because जब मैं लव स्टोरियां उनकी जिंदगी में आई, that was the time they were going through a rough patch in their life. They both had formed a wall between them, so they were not talking with each other. So this, both of them told me कि उसने कहा कि the moment you came into our life, it just, we got someone who was listening to us. And we both were not opening up. So when we started talking about our love, which we had one point of time, it made us realize कि यार कहाँ से शुरू किया था हमने. This whole series in a way brought us together as opposed to what we were during that time. So it really made us open up. So that's why he said कि यार, and it was very rightly said कि because वहाँ पे अब वही मतलब in terms of कि यार मतलब बोल के इतना सुकून महसूस हुआ. And he later told me also, maybe you also want someone, maybe everyone. अगर, और ये बहुत बहुत ही नॉर्मल है यार, अगर हर किसी को कोई सुनने वाला मिल जाए तो आधा स्ट्रेस उसका वैसे कम हो जाता है. Because also in a city like Bombay, where it's such a fast going city, we don't have time for anyone. And there is nothing wrong or right about it. Everyone has going, मतलब आपकी जिंदगी में सब कुछ हो रहा है यार. आप कहाँ किसको कितना वक्त दे पाओगे कि नहीं आधा घंटा बैठ और तू मुझे बता क्या चल रहा है यार. कब हमने अपनी किसी दोस्त को कब कॉल करके पूछा होगा कि I just want to sit and listen to you. We don't do that. So it's very rare thing. If we end up doing it, आधा stress, anxiousness खत्म हो जाएगी. But yeah, I guess he came from that aspect, I feel.
Amazing. Archana, you tell me, firstly, let me tell you, the actor that you found to play Dhanya, like she not only looked like her, but she also looked like Rekha. So we were like, wow, great casting for that. But tell me, of course, when you were shooting the film, like, of course, their kids were not involved. Was that a conscious thought the couple had that didn't want their kids to be interviewed? What was the process like for you?
No, actually, the thing is that it's just that the family is everywhere. It's not in one place. Like the kids, one of them studies in Edinburgh, and the other one is a job in Hyderabad. And he's very, very shy. I had asked them to be a part of it, but it's their choice. You can't force somebody to be in the film. So they were not. And articulation is a very important part of telling the story. So both the characters already, like both of them have heavy accents. They can't speak Hindi. So it was an English speaking episode, which obviously one struggles with, because we want it to be seen by as many people as possible. But at the same time, to now add more languages and everything, and plus their story is so extensive that and nobody but the two of them have really gone through it. So I thought, to be true to it, we kind of stick with the couple sort of a thing in the time limitations that we have. Yeah.
Right. Tell me, like, of course, as Hardik, I think, was mentioning how it's one of the docu-series that is working so well right now. But in recent time, we are seeing actually docu-series working a lot among audiences. As filmmakers, like, what's your take? What is it that it has kind of become so popular among audiences?
I think the form has changed a lot. I think the form of the documentary is now more acceptable to a wider audience. Also, now audience is getting trained because of watching too many documentaries to kind of be open to this sort of a language in cinema. Like a lot of documentaries that also do well very easily might be true crime documentaries or thriller documentaries, but to be able to tell a very simple emotion through documentary is what we have attempted really.
Yeah.
It's not sensational per se, but is just there every day kind of a thing. That's the attempt to capture this everydayness emotion really.
Amazing, amazing. They've already mentioned that time's up, so I'll just finish quickly. Somen, tell me, is there Love Story 2 coming up soon?
I hope so. I pray so. And as Karan says, we manifest so. So let's see if enough number of people watches it. There's a lot of love, but we need the numbers too. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. And lastly, I want three of you to pick your favorite love stories apart from the one that you, of course, made. Like, which was your favorite love story?
Homecoming.
Hardik, Vivek?
I will pick up Colin's story because it was just mind-bogglingly unbelievable in a world like today that a trans man and a trans woman come together, and they have come from very very very
Humble
very
background.
humble backgrounds. Yeah, so it's quite
Absolutely.
stunning how they have actually managed themselves. And also, I have a small soft corner for that film because Piyush, who is generally my collaborator in cinematography, has actually shot Colin's film and has actually shot much better than all my other films. So, which is why I'm even more jealous.
Vivek?
Yeah, I mean, it will be very tough to pick one because they all are diverse and beautiful in their own way. मतलब
No,
it just
pick.
like goes, है ना?
ज्ञान
इश्क
मत
के
दो,
साथ
pick.
मुकाम होते हैं तो हर एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री अपने आप में इश्क का एक
ऐसे
मुकाम
तो
है, I feel.
don't be
Okay,
don't
but if I have to pick, I guess I'll pick Homecoming. Homecoming, I'll pick Homecoming. Yeah.
Somen, you also get to make a choice. Please do that.
wow.
I can't pick.
Oh, so
All the
prepared for this answer. Like, I'm like that
There's
father.
No,
this
but you know
very-
what? Like I'll say, if you say by aesthetic and good looking, Vivek's is the most good looking. If I have to say something like emotional and all, then Sazia's is the. If something is heartwarming, that is Hardik. If something looks like, fuck, I still don't believe the story, that's Archana's. So every story has a strength which works for it. So I don't have any favorite. For me, I mean to be very honest, nothing like stood out. Oh wow, this is, as somebody says, there is no Gilli Pucci syndrome here when he did with Ajib Dastan. That one stood out so much from the rest. So यहाँ पे I think 19-20 everything is there, and every film has its own. Also, Colin says, Hardik said that but it's amazing the story, and we were feeling so. matlab, those people still stood by it. Coming from humble background, and the way he managed to shoot and this and that. So I think every film. Or even I actually, I think it hasn't got lot of love, but even Akshay's film, I really like that film. Where do we see that couple? Where do we see that terrain? I mean, we are not shooting in the interiors of Madhya Pradesh. If I have to pick one film, then I'll pick Akshay's. Because of all those factors. Because we don't see that kind of selfless love. People, मतलब वो किताबों में ही पढ़ते थे कि अरे IIT छोड़ के he's working in the interiors and then falling for it and then still stood by it. So it's quite amazing. And then Akshay going there and shooting, and the activism part is part of the love story. So but that would be my pick.
Amazing. Great. Thank you so much and all the best. And congratulations once again for Love Story.